Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey, and with me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, New York World Headquarters to the Austin World Headquarters, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Well, Garrett, I've been feeling a little guilty and a little sad this week.
What's got you so sad and guilty?
Well, Garrett, I feel a little guilty because for the past 18 years, every time I've been the slightest bit sick, what have I claimed to have?
Monkeypox?
That's right, friend. I think I've claimed monkeypox on this very show. I have asked doctors to make sure they check my monkeypox titers, and now, Garrett, monkeypox is on our shores, and while I'm not particularly concerned that I will be personally ravaged by it, honestly, I'm far more concerned about camelpox, I do feel responsibility about bringing the, what we will know one day as the great monkeypox epidemic, the monkeypox culling, even, of 2022 to 2031. Ooh. I feel partially responsible.
Okay. Lot to take in there. One, just checking. You were, in fact, looking for monkeypox as an answer.
Yes.
We need to definitely stop living together. Two, because no one should have been. I mean, I guess you do always claim to have monkeypox. This is a true story, folks. Ripped from the headlines of our lives. Two, how can you be so personally confident that you will not be ravaged by a pox of monkeys, but yet so sure that it will be something that will catch fire around the world?
Oh, I have moved on in my life to camelpox. That's the problem. It's much closer to smallpox, genetically.
And that does bring me to my final question, somehow. Are camelpox real?
Yes, they're as real as monkeypox. Far more dangerous. And just to stop your next thing, no, it's not two pox right next to each other like camel's humps, you asshole.
You're an asshole. This whole thing has made you an asshole.
Yeah, anyway, I'm also slightly sad, Garrett, because the album of the week is a bit of a downer, and I was just, this whole week I was thinking maybe we should have picked something more fun or more upbeat for our final ever episode of this show.
Again, I just have to point out, it isn't.
We'll see.
We'll see. We will see. Listen, I have been wrong no less than 10 times today about things for this show. So I could be dead wrong, Tim. This may, Gino, mark it. Could be the last one.
I'm going to say this real quick. 10 times is too many times to have been wrong about the show today.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
I'm making a lot of mistakes. Obviously. Yeah. No, well, I don't really want to get into it. Not looking to air dirty laundry. In fact, I was trying to build a bridge of understanding. Instead, I'll just go ahead and say, no, you stupid fuck. There will be more. That's what you get. But again, no, Tim's 100% right. This could be it. So hope you enjoy. Timmy, what album have we been listening to for an entire week?
We have been listening to the apparently British band Bush and their Pretty Great, 1996 sophomore album, Razorblade Suitcase, and because I let Tom Rady write these notes for me, transcribe if you will, apparently I also have to say, it slaps. Fucking idiot. I don't
understand. Why do you keep picking him to do your work? You know he hates you.
He's not doing my work, he's transcribing my thoughts. I am bad at writing.
Absolutely, and reading. But you know he's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know you're his boss, but
you hear that, I feel
Tom?
like your boss.
Hey Tom, I heard what you did with Tim's notes. Air 5, buddy.
Just do a fucking football at me.
Went pretty hard and accurately. We're going to take that out of your pay, bud. I've been paying Tom.
Oh.
He does great work. I hope he never leaves. Timmy, after an entire week with Gavin, the Bush, and his suitcase filled with razor blades, I am beside myself with curiosity. Do you hate this album?
Almost.
Whoa!
I think I could easily get there this week with just the slightest push. If you were to blow lightly on my neck, I think I might get there. The point is... Not quite yet, but I think I will.
I think you may have single-handedly put to bed Get There.
That's gross. What this episode's about, Garrett. Wrapping it all up.
Maybe. Could be. Tough to say.
Garrett, but that's how I feel about this album. Let me ask you, do you hate this? Do you hate Bush's Razorblade Suitcase?
Oh, man.
And as a corollary to that, do you hate the fact that I've filled every suitcase in the house with razor blades?
That's what that is. Inopportune timing for the move. Yeah, I don't care for that part. Anyway, do I hate this album? No?
Ooh. Controversial statement.
I'd like to amend my previous answer slightly. Yes. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've put way too much thought into Bush's Razorblade Suitcase this week, and I have gone back and forth both sides of the aisle. I have argued with myself, won, lost, and even picked a fight or two. So we'll see. It might just come down to the timer, where we're at the end of the show. Game time decision. Ugh. Okay, so you might hate it. I am conflicted about it. But before we can talk about it itself, I'm curious, Tim, what is your history with Bush, and more specifically, Razorblade Suitcase?
I have heard this album a bunch of times. I've heard 16 Stone a bunch of times. This album, several songs in this album, bring me viscerally back to 8th grade dances in Saudi Arabia. It reminds me of the pain of childhood. It reminds me of sadness.
The pain of childhood.
It reminds me of, and not saying I did this, but someone did this, of getting a water bottle and like poking a hole in it and putting some foil there and getting some Turkish hashish and putting it in there. And yeah, the point is, this album...
Made yourself some sort of water bottle bong?
This album makes my throat hurt. But here's the thing. I don't think I could have named a single song on, well, maybe Mouth, but that's because we listened to that fairly recently. Yeah, I knew this album.
Now, Tim, as a lifelong drug-free advocate, both you and I, tough to say, but I'll bet those drugs taste even better when there's a severe punishment from the government from catching you.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you're not a Saudi Arabian citizen, so you might be treated slightly with some leniency, or
I had a
considerably
friend
less.
Whose older brother, and this sounds like one of those apocryphal stories. I had a friend with an older brother, but this actually happened. His older brother was banned from the country, and so he couldn't come home for like holidays and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Tried to smuggle pot back in. Didn't go
Are you
well.
insane?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, I once took fireworks on an airplane on a trip to Cape Cod, but...
But that was the 80s. It was a different time.
It was 1994. Nobody asked shit. It was in my carry-on.
Well, you used to be able to buy knives in the airport. It should have been fine.
Let's get back to the task at hand.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Garrett, have you ever heard Razorblade Suitcase before this very week? I'm betting no.
That would be amazing. Of course I have. What's wrong with you? Why would I not have? Why were you guessing no? Let's see, this came out in 96, so you didn't quite touch on this, Tim. I suspect it's similar to me, but I'll ask the question. So when 16 Stone came out, straight up Bush fan, right here.
Absolutely. I agree completely. This was one of those that somebody got on vacation and brought back to the land, the House of Saud, and it just spread like wildfire. Everyone was a Bush head.
You've made it weird. Yeah, I loved 16 Stone. So when this album came out, a mere 6 months after the final single, Machine Head, from 16 Stone was released, I was thrilled, beside myself even. I still recall that very day, Tim. I purchased this. I did not get it from Columbia House. Purchased it with my own hard-earned money, put it into my Discman on the old school bus, getting ready to go to school, and proceeded to say, yuck, this is gross. I hate this.
Yeah.
And then I traded it for a 311 album, I think.
It's really the equivalent of The Lost World.
Oh, yeah. It really is.
It's one of those things that even as a kid, you're like, this has like dinosaurs, but I just for some reason don't like it. Like, this is grunge. This has all the things that I should like, but I just don't.
Yeah, you guys really threw this together or something. Anyway, so yeah, so we were both huge Bush heads, big fans of the Bush. And then Razorblade Suitcase comes out and we both declaratively, as I hope most of America did, said, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, in our defense though, like it was the 90s. Everyone was a huge fan of the Bush until all of a sudden they weren't.
Yeah, borderline Pauly Shored the entire band. King of the world and then go fuck yourself, Rosdale. Rightly so. So that's your history, Tim. That's my history. Before we can talk about the album itself, the songs, etc., it is customary here on the show to understand a little bit about the band. So please take us on a journey. Help us understand who is Bush and how did Razorblade Suitcase come to be?
Well, Bush is British. Now, I guess I knew that, but I had definitely forgotten that fact since the last time I thought about Bush, sometime in 1999, with the obvious exception of that time we thought of Bush when we listened to the soundtrack of that goddamn American Werewolf in Wherever movie.
Mouth.
Yes, sort of on this album. Anyway, the main guy in this band is singer Gavin McGregor Rosdale, born in London in 1965. His father was a doctor whose original last name was Rosenthal, but he wanted to hide his Russian Jewish descent, so they changed it to Rosdale.
Ew.
And I don't know exactly what was wrong with Gav on like a developmental or chromosomal level, but he did not speak until he was 4 years old, and that's not normal.
Wow, yeah, that's alarming. I wonder what his first words were.
Mouth.
Yo, mouth.
I would guess. Anyway, he had a fairly normal, weird British upbringing. His parents divorced, and then he went to this fancy-sounding like middle/high school that was established in the year of our Lord 1560 and looks like a castle, and that's because it was in a castle. In the 1980s, Gavrov was in a...
You know what? I think I'm okay with it. This might be the last episode, guys. Let's go with Gavrov.
He was in a pop band called Midnight and toured with people like Cyndi Lauper. They only did a couple of singles, though, and no one seemed to buy them. In 1989, Gavin became the godfather to the daughter of fashion designer Pearl Lowe. More on that in a bit. He was also in the Little Dukes that apparently played music that Gav himself did not like. I think more new wavy. They tried to get signed in LA and New York, but ended up just breaking up in 1991. Luckily, though, Gavdale met Nigel Pulsford, a guitarist for a band called King Blank, at a Wembley Bryan Adams performance, because of course that's where they met. And they formed the band Future Primitive, got bassist Dave Parsons and drummist Robin Goodridge by 1993. This is going to be the original Bush lineup, but they're not going to call themselves that yet. Originally, they were apparently a new wave dance rocky kind of band. So Gavin was not on vocals? No, well, so this seems like a Jim Jeffries kind of thing, where you're just like, oh yeah, Jim Jeffries, he's got like stand-up that sounds a lot like Doug Stanhope, right? And then you find out that he was like an opera singer, and you know, he's becoming whatever he thinks is going to work.
Yeah, song and dance man. Exactly. Just getting out there.
Quotes describing their earliest music often describe them as, and I'm quoting here, the more commercial side of In Excess, or as Garrett calls them, Inix. They did release one single called Bomb under the name Future Primitive. Then they signed to Disney's Hollywood Records in 1993. They were signed by Bob Kahane, then completed 16 Stone in 1994. The Disney executive that was kind of allowing all this to happen was Frank G. Wells. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but that guy's fucking fascinating. He died in a helicopter accident, and turns out he was, again, basically the guy that was sort of allowing Bush to be a thing on their record label. Once he died, the other record executive said 16 Stone was unacceptable for release, and the band basically had to take jobs in what the internet dismissively calls menial labor.
That's a rude term.
Absolutely. And I don't know exactly what that means. But Frank Wells, he scaled like 6 of the 7 summits, et cetera, but the most interesting thing I found out about him, Garrett, once he was dead, he had a funeral, as he sometimes do. And at that funeral, Clint Eastwood came. And at that funeral that Clint Eastwood was at, Clint Eastwood approached the microphone and sang Hey Jude in Frank Wells' honor. What a thing to have seen. Jesus. 1994 was a better time.
I can't. What is it? Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song, make it better.
I assume there was a lot of ad-libbing about pussy and booze.
My problem was always the booze. No, what was it?
It was never the booze.
Yeah, never the booze. It was Pussy. Okay. I gotta go, Clint Eastwood. Why? You know, spelling it makes it grosser.
It does. Anyway, Interscope eventually decided it was going to release this album. They were played fairly prominently on LA radio, and the album eventually hit, mostly in, I think, 95 was when it sold the most. In Canada, they were Bush raised to the X power because there was already a Canadian Bush, but apparently that problem was more about our Bush's lawyers trying to stop a reissue by the Canadian Bush, and eventually Bush raised to the X power got to drop the X if they donated $40 $40,000 to a pair of Canadian charities. The Canadian Bush did not need any money because Canadians are objectively better people than all the rest of us. They toured and were very successful with 16 Stone, as we all know. They toured with No Doubt, and Gavros eventually started dating the incomparable Miss Gwendoline Stefani. They did have an early 8-month break in their relationship, though, and Rossi D started dating Courtney Love, which people hated immediately and were right to. This man is acting in a part, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is creepy, right?
Yes. Listen, if people accuse you exclusively of ripping off Nirvana, don't date Courtney Love. Just yeah. You don't need to. There's no reason.
The one woman you can't date is Kurt Cobain's widow.
Yeah.
And mother of his child.
Yes. Also in 1995, Boy George wrote an autobiography chillingly titled Take It Like a Man.
Oh no!
Alleging that Gav was in a relationship with Marilyn, aka Peter Robinson, in the 1980s. Now, Gav denied this. Then Robinson dedicated a single to him, citing their years of passionate relationship and featuring a photo of the two of them together on the cover, later claiming that they had been together for 5 years of the 80s. In 2010, Gav said that he may have had a liaison with Peter, saying it was part of growing up and experimentation. Peter then called Gav the love of his life. Now, I didn't write much about it, but there were a number of songs on this album that could easily be interpreted as Gav being sad a record company successfully made him pretend to be straight publicly.
Wow, that's pretty... I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. Anyway, back to 1996, the album of the week, the final album of the week ever. Enjoy it, Finn. Razorblade Suitcase was released, notably produced by Steve Albini. Again, people hated given his production work on In Utero. Why is he trying to be Kurt Cobain? It's really weird.
Didn't he also do the Pixies, Surfer Rosa?
I think so. Interestingly, the guy that did the cover for Surfer Rosa also did the cover for this album.
Oh, that's very odd.
Early to mid, kind of like 93 to 95 Gavin Rossdale interviews, if you, when the interviewer would always ask who your influences were, they would all be Kurt Cobain's influences and then just Nirvana on the end of that. It's really weird. It doesn't matter. In 1997, Bush released Deconstructed, a remix album featuring electronica, dance, techno, trip-hop, etc. versions of all their songs, including the Mouth Stingray mix that we listened to for that Parawolf movie.
Wait, the what wolf movie?
Parawolf. The wolf
Parawolf.
in Paris. Combining two words. It's a portmanteau, Garrett.
It's a bad one.
Try to keep up. Then...
Oh, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, that's fair. Then Gav went to Ireland to pretend to be weird and brooding. He worked on the next album, sent demos to the rest of the band, and they ended up recording The Science of Things, which was more electronic-y and had more dance-type beats or whatever. Who cares? They did Woodstock 99, aka The Good Stock. They moved to Atlantic Records and released Golden State in 2001. Nobody liked it.
Ooh, I gave that a try.
I think it was trying to get more back to the sound of this album, but no one liked this album either. It's just a losing cause.
I was going to say lost cause. Wow.
Yep. He was in Zoolander in 2001 as well. And then in 2002, the band broke up. He got married to the way too good for him Gwendoline Stefani. And he did a solo song for that movie Triple X. You ever see Triple X, Garrett?
Saw it in the theater opening weekend.
Interesting. I rented it from, you remember that Blockbuster that was right on like 20s?
Under your house?
Yes, but before it was under my house, before I lived there.
Oh, right.
Like my freshman year, like the summer before my freshman year, I rented it and then like lost it or forgot to return it or something. And so my mom was just like, I'm sorry, there's a late charge for Triple X from Blockbuster.
Oh, that's
Blockbuster
difficult to explain.
Pornography?
No, it's a movie star in this guy. Uh-huh.
That man looks like a giant penis.
Timothy, it's bad enough you are renting pornography. Why do you think I want to learn the details of your pornography?
I think if you don't just give it a chance.
It's about family.
Not yet, it wasn't.
No, it was a different franchise.
In 2004, a paternity test revealed that he was the father of his goddaughter, Daisy Lowe. I don't know if you remember that from earlier.
Yeah.
And so he cut off all contact with her and her mother.
Wait, what? That's not the solution.
Well, I mean, he didn't want to be the father. He wanted to be the godfather.
Right, but he had sex with that lady.
Sure. I think people have sex with their
children?
Sister-in-law?
Is that how?
I think it's a god sister-in-law. Anyway, the point is, yeah, he was the father. I think they have maybe repaired this as of 2010 or so. I don't really know. Don't really care. The point is, he got that paternity test and was like, I am out. Gav had a new band called Institute. Somewhere in here, they made some music and then broke up in 2006. In 2007, Gav recorded John Lennon's Mind Games for a tribute album. He also did a solo album called Wanderlust. He did some more acting in here as Balthazar, Garrett's 11th favorite demonic being in Constantine, Garrett's second favorite Gavin Rossdale picture. He would also go on to be in some shows Garrett genuinely enjoys. There's Criminal Minds, the reboot of Hawaii Five-0, and a show I tricked Garrett into watching every single episode of, Burn Notice.
That did happen. That 100% happened. My name is Michael Weston. I hate that show.
He's so wooden. I watched a single
on another
episode.
show. I caught it the other day. I was walking through the living room and the dog was watching TV, and he's on some new show, and I was like, Jeffrey Donovan, still a giant hunk of wood. Like, just hasn't gotten any better.
Yeah.
He had a show for like 8 seasons. The only good thing about Burn Notice was, what's his face from Evil Dead's in that movie or show?
Bruce
Campbell. Yeah, and he's legitimately a very funny human being.
Yeah, got a great chin, too. Eventually, Bush got back together in 2010 to cash in on everyone's positive memories of the band Bush, I guess. They released The Sea of Memories in 2011. They toured with Nickelback. In 2014, Bush released Man on the Run. In 2015, Gwendolyn finally figured her shit out and left Gavin Rossdale. Although she did end up in the arms of Blake Shelton, so maybe... Was she not too good for this guy?
No, she was definitely too good for Gavin Rossdale. She just happens to also be too good for this new dude.
Ah, fair enough.
I'm sorry, was Blake Shelton Tip It Back? No, it was Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But he had a lot of red Solo cups.
That's Toby Keith.
I can't keep track of these giant white weirdos.
They're bloated filth bags. In 2017, Bush released Black and White Rainbows and toured with Stone Temple Pilots. In July of 2020, they released The Kingdom. Garrett, this band is still releasing albums. In COVID times, this band, 24 years after the last album I was aware existed. 24 years is so long. You think about what you could do in 24 years.
26 years for me.
Yeah, even better. In 26 years, Garrett, you could have a 5-year relationship with Peter Robinson. You could have a child. You could become that child's godfather as some sort of weird consolation prize to said child while lying to her and her mother. You could then cut these parties all completely out of your life and pretend that none of it ever happened in that amount of time.
Yeah, and then fix all of those things, lose your wife to a bloated drunk weirdo, allegedly, and then try to cash in on nostalgia for what you once had but took for granted.
LaFace.
Wow, great history, Tim. Shia LaBeouf. That needs to be how you leave a room. All right, guys, I gotta take off. Big arm flail. Shia LaBeouf.
Is Tim a ghost?
Maybe get some glitter or a smoke bomb. I don't know. Whatever's handy.
Always glitter. I carry glitter in glitter vials in my pockets.
I'll tell you what, you want to have a little self-protection there on the streets, the mean streets of Manhattan. Don't get a rape whistle. Get glitter. You fucking hurl a fistful of glitter into somebody's mouth. I don't really know what happens next. Not whatever was happening.
Also, along those same lines, since you brought it up earlier, you hurl a smoke bomb into somebody's mouth, same effect.
Well, yeah, sure. I think we know what happens to that person. Horrible death.
Tear gas grenade.
Yeah, most people don't have access to those things, but they do have access to a bag of glitter.
We got some crates in the new studio. I don't know what's in them.
You are not most people. God, I'll tell you what, though. If somebody was physically attacking you and you very calmly poured glitter into their mouth, like, fight over.
Well, okay. Yeah, but for 2 reasons. One, the glitter, obviously, but also if you're calm enough and in control enough to calmly pour glitter into a man's mouth, you're going to win that fight.
Maybe you have 0 fighting skills whatsoever. You just know the minute you get a good 8 ounces of glitter into somebody's mouth, like, they're done.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or conversely, cinnamon. What if you just start pouring cinnamon into somebody's mouth?
Ooh, cinnamon grenade.
Yes. Alrighty, Tim, that brings us to general thoughts. Couldn't think of a better transition. To start us off, if I may, I did a bit of research of my own, and I pulled the top 10 albums of 1996. May I read them to you to kind of set the landscape of what was going on?
Oh, please.
Because it's a very transitional year. All right, top 10 albums of 1996, starting with number 1. Celine Dion's Falling Into You. Spice Girls, Spice.
In.
Matchbox 20, Yourself or Someone Like You. Toni Braxton's Secrets. The Backstreet Boys' Self-Titled. Fugees' The Score, good album. And then this one, Tim, shocked and confused me. The 6th best-selling album of 1996 is Raja Hindustani, a soundtrack.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't either. Number 8 is Metallica's Load. Number 9, Dave Matthews' Crash. And number 10, George Michael's Older. So very interesting, right? You've got Celine Dion, you've got Spice Girls, Fugees, Metallica, Dave Matthews.
I think I like 5 of those albums better than this one.
Definitely like Spice Girls more, Matchbox 20, Fugees, Load. Give me fuel, forgive me.
It's a good album.
It's not. Yeah, I like at least 5, and I've never heard George Michael's Older, but I'm a big fan of that Faith song.
Yeah, even when Limp Bizkit covered it. It's good enough that it made it through.
Anyway.
Can we talk about the title first?
Absolutely.
It almost seems, so allegedly, this is one of those things that like when you're 11 and you've got this album and everyone's just like, oh, do you know what a Razorblade Suitcase is? And I guess it's a junkie kit. That's what the rumor was when I was a child.
Oh, that's interesting.
But
that's not what I thought it was.
It's impossible to find out for sure because if you Google this, all that comes up is this album. I've also read that maybe it's a stand-in for emotional baggage.
That was my interpretation.
Either way, it's dumb and that phrase isn't going to catch on. But the title of this, it seems like they're almost making fun of grunge because this is sort of a staple of the genre. These bands love to put together nonsense words or nonsense concepts, like Nirvana sang about Mexican seafood, like all the lyrics to Heart-Shaped Box. That time they wrote the theme to a Batman movie and included unrelated lyrics about how fish don't have feelings as a result of not having a thalamus. Razorblade Suitcase seems to be overtly trying to think of something that Mr. Cobain would say, some like disconnected words that he'd put together that don't really belong together, but maybe like post hoc it has meaning. But it doesn't work because it's trying too hard and it's trying to be cool and tough and just not naturally weird. Like, but it's conceptually it's naming this album Throat Berries or Ass Milk or Semen Butter. It's no thank you.
Let me first say I agree. The non sequitur nonsense, unrelated, here's 2 words or 4 sentiments strung together, is done in a way that it is so nonsensical. Tim, you warned me that this may very well be our final episode. Don't know yet. We'll see. But if it is, I wanted to put in some extra effort, really pull something out special for the listeners. And hey, I know some of you are viewers, and that's great. But this is the most inscrutable album we've ever done.
Absolutely.
It makes Lulu look completely normal.
Yeah.
There's whole songs where here's the fun news, where I couldn't determine any meaning whatsoever. I just ascribed my own entirely.
That's good. I mean, you have to, because it's mostly just word salad. Like this guy might have the Wernicke's aphasia. And I read a whole bunch of people's comments online this week, and there were so many variations on, despite what everyone says, I love this album. It feels so meaningful, even though I don't understand what this song means. There's comments that were just like, I love this song, no idea what it's about. That's because it's garbled nonsense.
And I'll argue, these are not songs.
Oh, sure. Yeah. This album might be approaching Why I Hate This Album proof in the same way that like James Buffet is Weird Al proof. He's trying to beat us. And it sounds like you didn't let him, but
I tried, but we'll see. We'll check the scoreboard at the end for sure. But so that I don't say it at least 10 times, I'll say it once. For many of these songs, it's a worse version of Latter Day Doors. It is like he has written some poetry, which we can all agree should never be shared with anyone. Not just his, all poetry. And all modern poetry. And 2, the music, for the most part, lacks all hooks. There's no melody that you walk away from singing or humming. It's just a jam sesh over some cool words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it feels like this was commissioned for like, let's say you've got like a 2010 movie that you wanted to make about what it's like to live in Seattle in 94. You know, like you want to do singles, but again, like 12 years ago. You got Bradley Cooper fresh off the A-Team, but it's a low budget made for TV movie and they can't afford any actual songs. So they hired a British composer to like kind of give it a go. Like what did this sound like? What did 94?
This is classic sound-alike music.
Yeah. It feels like one of those sci-fi original movies that's it sounds like
when Transformers Transformers come out and sci-fi does Transmorphers.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Just hoping grandmas across the country are going to buy the wrong Blu-ray. I got you the Transmorphers. Ah, fuck. Thanks, Grandma.
It kind of feels like a music school student had like a senior project that was just titled grunge. Like that's we gave you a theme, and your theme was grunge. This is what you did with it.
Yeah, if that were the case, bravo. But unfortunately, this is a professional music album, and that's not great. So, like I said, just like musically, lyrically, no hooks. There's almost no catchy glycerine or machine head or little things. The best we get is mouth. Like, okay, I don't want to walk around just going, yo, mouth.
Yeah.
But he does. Now, let's add some context. Two things. One, you've pointed to it a couple of times, Tim, so I'll just put a big fat cherry on it. We're getting Nirvana. We're getting STP. We're getting some weird Goo Goo Dolls live collective soul feeling. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
With hints of that first Bush. Like, there are moments where you're like, oh, there's Bush. Bye. See you, Gavin.
I think this album would have been much better received if it had come out in 95 and had been called 16 Stone B-Sides.
Ooh, not bad. Or like 32 Stone.
Yeah.
Or 17 Stone. I don't know what a stone is. What's the significance of the number? Probably the number of tracks, or possibly that's a conversion to something English.
It's 14 pounds.
Is 16 stone?
No, is 1 stone.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
16 stone. 224 pounds.
I wonder what the relevance of that is.
I can do all the maths.
Don't write in. Great. Congratulations on your abacus skills. So, Timmy, we've talked about the music. Let's add a little more context. This came out 6 months after Machine Head was released as the final single off 16 Stone.
Sure.
Classic sophomore slump.
Sort of. Sophomore slump, though, implies that they're going to have a resurgence, and they did not.
Oh, I didn't know it implied. Oh, I guess a slump. Yeah, would have to go back up now, wouldn't it? Fair enough. Sophomore tragic fall. So I'll ask you the question. Let's be fair to Gavi Raz. Don't release this in, what did we say, late 96? Is that right?
Yes, November, I think.
Yeah, November. Don't release this in November of 96. Release this in, I don't know, July of 97. Better album? Better music. It's gotta be. Maybe the lyrics are the same, but like at least you could form songs around it.
Yeah.
So much of this is just guitar noodling. Or as you said, like grunge riff. Insert grunge riff.
Yeah, yeah.
You can actually do this in Google Photos, and I think maybe even on Apple Photos now, where you can just say like, add this emotional type music. And it would be this. Add grunge type music. Is this Razorblade Suitcase? So let me ask you a different question, and then we'll move on. What if this was the first album? What if this had come out in 1994, 5, and then 16 Stone comes out in 96? Would this have been popular?
I feel like if that had have happened, I think people would like this more and like 16 Stone less.
Oh, I think 16 Stone, well, it would have been late, right? People would have been viewing it from the Johnny Come Lately lens.
Yeah, they would be like
on to Creed.
They finally perfected the sound that they tried to get on this album on 16 Stone, maybe, would be the view of it. But I think people retrospectively would, maybe at the time even, but definitely retrospectively, I think they would like this more, like 16 Stone a little bit less. But I still think people would think 16 Stone is by far the better album.
Undoubtedly.
It's got songs.
It's got songs on it. It's not boring as shit. It doesn't sound like a man trying actively to lose his voice.
Right. If Speed 2 had have come out before Speed 1.
Fuck Speed 2. Do not bring up Speed 2. I do not want to have this argument again.
Son of the Mask comes out before The Mask.
This is even flimsier.
American Psycho 2? I can keep going.
Let's have a real one. Back to the Future 2. Tim, right now, what's your favorite, 1 or 2?
1.
My favorite, honest, hand to God, swear on my eyeballs?
Don't say
2.
3. Oh.
There's some people that do.
Well, you know.
Most people have no taste.
Cowboys.
Thought we were past that. All right, we can't distract any longer. So, anything else you want to talk about before we get into the song by song?
Nope.
Fantastic. That brings us to track number 1, Personal Holloway. This is one of the few songs that does use some sort of vocal effect. Kind of sounds like a telephone or a megaphone filter.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. Opens with a dog sniffing and growling for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's see. And this is a great example of poetry over music. I mean, I'm excited just to see if you came up with any sort of meaning to these lyrics song by song, because I went through this album with a fine-tooth comb repeatedly, and even I struggled. So let's just get right into it. I mean, needless to say, Tim, with a couple couple of exceptions. There's not too much to say about the music, right?
No, I mean, there's a little bit of experimentation. There's some more strings, and we'll get into it as we go. There's some dog rock on here, which we've already mentioned. But yeah, it's pretty much, like Garrett said, it's generic, it's grunge noodling.
I didn't know how badly I required a chorus in my songs until they were not there. So let's get into it. Tune my weaker eye. No, I won't do that the whole time, but I will do it intermittently. It's fun. Spit white. Hold the world up all day. She's blue in the face again. Paracetamol. Let's just pause there. So, tune my weaker eye, spit white. I'm picturing a man with his eyes shocked wide open.
Okay.
Hold the world up all day. She's blue in the face again. Paracetamol. She is ODing on Tylenol.
Yep. The tune my weaker eye, I was thinking of that, they used to put a black thing over one, if you're cross-eyed.
Oh yeah, they give you a patch.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you think he used to be patched?
I mean, maybe. It's certainly possible. He might have
had
grown
one of those
up
ones from. He had one from Kill Bill. Like it's white. Like what's her face?
Was it white though? I feel like it was black.
No, remember?
In the hospital. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Speaking of Tarantino, I feel like the paracetamol is because that's a British, or at least not a U.S. This feels like a test, like that scene in Inglourious Bastards where they're holed up in the basement, and one of the American soldiers holds up 3 fingers in the American way, not the German way, and gives them all away. Like paracetamol. Of course, I should have known they're not American. Come on.
Yeah, that was a shock to me as well. You brought it up at least twice. I would have said Chicago. Sleep the darkness all away, drinking kitchen paint to dye the winter I hope we'll never see again. Is he drinking paint?
Well, what is kitchen paint and what distinguishes that from other paint? What does that mean?
I was thinking kitchen cabinet paint, maybe.
Sure, but like, again, how's that different?
Maybe it's like heat-resistant paint.
I think he needed an extra couple of syllables.
And, he had them, because he says drinking kitchen paint to dye the winter. He could have
drinking paint to dye the winter. Yeah, that's a better line.
Yeah, you're right. Instead, we get this. Inscrutable, folks. It only gets weirder. And, I want to be real clear. I'm about to read the chorus, or at least what I believe to be the chorus. Deaf and dumb with the lights on. Deaf and dumb with the lights on. Married by signs. Married by signs. Okay.
Yep. I tried to put this all in context of Gwen Stefani. Sure. Courtney Love.
I think you landed where I landed. Spit it out.
It's about dating Courtney Love, perhaps.
Oh, no.
Or he seems to be like having really poor communication with whoever he's dating, deaf and dumb with the lights on. They're just getting by. They're communicating essentially by sign language because they're not talking to each other. Maybe. Again, it doesn't mean anything.
Good. Sure. That's pretty good. Here's what I went with. That this whole song is an argument that a couple is having where he does not want to move to the suburbs and she does. And when he's saying deaf and dumb with the lights on, married by signs, I took that to mean that it all happened right in front of him slowly. Like first it was just the toothbrush and then they moved in together and now they never go out. They don't do anything cool. They're there in downtown London and they just stick around inside all day and they're not married, but they're practically married by the comfort that they have with one another.
So just everyone in COVID times.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you were one of those unfortunate people that remained alone for months on end and, slowly were going crazy.
Or even if you have a whole staff full of people, you might get. It doesn't matter. It's not important. Personal Holloway, 6th month Lennon. It's safe to say we are alone. Suburban suicide. Watching night come amber. It's also temporary. I think
what you got?
You hit the nail on the head when this is just random abstract poetry that they have put music under. Apparently, the Personal Holloway is a reference to a women's prison in England somewhere.
Yeah, London. That's now closed. So I think he's comparing the suburbs to this Personal Holloway. A 6-month linen is a play on words that he's wrapped in a linen prison in this marriage. It's safe to say that we're alone. It's just them and in suburban suicide.
Maybe.
And then when she says, come on, let's move to the suburbs. He says, this is literally in the song, move a little way. Move a little way now. Move a little way. Move a little way now. So he's just saying, we'll get a little outside of the city. We don't have to be like completely outside, just 10, 15 minutes from the city center. Try that for now. Could be a better plan.
Okay. Because I was very confused. Could what be a better plan? There's no plan.
I think it's his idea to not move entirely out to the suburbs.
Okay. Yeah. Your story is boring, Garrett. I don't mean to insult.
It's quite all right, Tim. I will try to do better in the next one. But is what I'm given. A lot of people said that this song is about a man who's married to a deaf woman.
I mean, that's sort of what I said, except she wasn't literally deaf. They just don't communicate well.
Yeah, yours is still deaf.
There's a rambling attempt from Gavin Rossdale to explain what this is about. I'll read some excerpts from this gigantic paragraph here. It's about finding somebody pretty close to me who tried to commit suicide, hence the reference to paracetamol. Okay. He goes on, personal Holloway would be a personal prison. And because it was female, I thought that Holloway was appropriate. Being deaf and dumb with the lights on is like being trapped in a world where you can't speak or hear. It doesn't mean that your brain is fully functioning, as we obviously know now. So I suppose the song is about female struggle. My female song.
My female song?
It's getting better. I was looking for something like an anti-grunge sentiment. Totally the opposite of the bleakness before. It's something hopeful. I love this song. It's not that. Whatever it is, it's not what you said. Stupid. Stupid man.
It's hopeful.
It is not hopeful.
Married by signs. That's the chorus. Oh, okay. We're off to a bad start.
Yes. I do like that your Gavin Rossdale impression is half of like a South Park. Come on, Dad.
Oh, yeah. It's a petulant goth kid mixed with Creed, mixed with just he's got like a whiny, and my asshole brother. It's hard to do, especially quiet so that I don't blow out the fucking microphones every time. Yeah. But we'll see how it does in the edit. Tim, one track in, off to a rocky start.
Yeah.
Let's hope this is not the final episode.
I feel like it's going to be track number 2, Greedy Fly. I like the guitar intro part to this. I think it works.
I agree. The music isn't terrible.
Yeah, in this song. It is in some songs. This is one that everyone's probably heard, although again, I had no idea it was called Greedy Fly.
How could you?
But I feel like this song is very literal. This is Gav Gav being super disappointed in the choices that he's made. He wanted to be an upbeat, new wave homosexual. He wanted to play Ricky Gervais music, but the popularity of 16 Stone and all that was grunge has forced him into keep being Bush, and he just hates it.
God, that's fascinating. What an interesting, whatever. You know, this is not for me to judge. Anything I say is probably not going to come out great.
Let's let him speak for himself then. Do you feel the way you hate? Do you hate the way you feel? Always closest to the flame, ever closer to the blade. Yeah, I am poison, crazy lush, built these hands to lift me up. We are servants of our formulaic ways.
All right, what you got?
He hates this band. He hates being grunge guy. He wants to make upbeat dance music and have sex with men.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So here's what I got, Tim. I think that, you know what? Maybe you're right. Yeah, because he's always closest to the flame, ever closer to the blade, ever closer to, well, that doesn't sound very happy. I like your reading better. I had that this might be about a mad scientist.
Oh, let's do that. That sounds fun.
Well, like, okay, so,
it's got his Bunsen
the hating
burner.
part's a little confusing. You know, do you feel the way you hate? Do you hate the way you feel? Always closest to the flame, ever closer to the blade. Maybe that's him always trying these crazy, mad experiments. He says, I am poison crazy lush, built these hands to lift me up. We are servants to our formulaic ways. I think he's been driven to create. Possibly he's created a pair of giant metal hands in order to help him to build his, I don't know, mad scientist type things.
Maybe they're not giant metal hands. Maybe he has affixed 4 tentacles to his back.
I do like that. This could be some sort of Dr. Octopus situation. Although I really like the idea of just having 2 giant hands.
Like, has he replaced his hands with metal hands? Because I've always wanted to do that. Very strong,
again,
Dr. No hands. I could.
Right, you can't. No, can't. Science is not there yet. You can someday, and I will drive you to the doctor to get those robot hands.
Ooh, I'm going to show you how good they are by tearing your car asunder.
That's going to be pretty cool. Not going to lie. Song continues, make up your mind. I need some help to find this mind. And this was where I thought maybe he was some sort of mad scientist for sure, trying to hunt down a mind to bring about some sort of Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or could be Magneto. He's trying to find that brilliant mind of Dr. Charles Xavier.
What is the Screaming
This song's not really
Daisies
about
part,
stuff.
then?
I didn't include that because I don't know what it means. Read the line just so people can appreciate how stupid this is.
I'm screaming daisies from 14 miles away. I've got my own time, got it all today. I don't know.
Okay, here's a real interpretation of this song. I think the whole thing is about selling out and biting off more than he can chew.
Right. By being a grunge musician instead of an upbeat new wave homosexual. Yeah.
Sure. Which, hey, to each their own. We celebrate all kinds here. Just saying, I think that he signed up for that sophomore album a little sooner than he should have, and he's begging for help. He says, limbo this and limbo that. You said you were this and you were that. Ever know that what you fear is what you find? Tim, I have no idea what this means.
It's just lazy. Limbo this and limbo that. You were this and you were that. Fuck you.
I guess maybe he could be talking about critics trying to dictate what he is and what he was and what he's supposed to be in the future.
Still terrible songwriting.
Indian Summer, I signed my life away. There's a greedy fly in here and I fly away. Maybe he was greedy, signed a big contract. Yeah, we'll do all the albums. 7 sounds great.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes me think, because if you think of an Indian summer, right, that's when it's warm, when it should be cold.
Right.
Can you think of a better description for a happy new wave homosexual? No, you can't. But he signed all of that away when he decided to be Bush. He was greedy, he went for the money, and now he is depressed.
Loose strings. But I'm going to go with you because you know what?
None of it means anything.
Correct. The only thing we haven't mentioned is the chorus is sung again, followed by 10 more minds. Make up your mind. I need some help to find this mind.
Did you get a mind count?
I didn't do a total mind count.
These guys shout mind or mouth or whatever seems to...
I got a mouth count.
Yeah, I did too. I got a mouth count on several songs. Because it's not just that one they shout mouth a bunch of times.
Oh, that's true. These guys are super obsessed with mouths. Speaking of, track number 3, Swallowed. Lead single. And I gotta say, of the things we've heard so far, the most commercial of the 3?
I would argue that Greedy Fly, at least to my ear, makes more sense.
We'll call it a push. Yeah. It's not a bad song. It seems a little self-conscious.
It feels like it's sung from the perspective of a plant.
Our very first song about a daisy.
No, not about a daisy.
Well.
Sung by a daisy.
Now, I apologize. You know what? You're not wrong. This feels more imitation Nirvana. Mm-hmm. Music, especially the chorus, feels a little Pixies-like. And Tim, I'm sure this won't surprise you to hear that Gavin said that this is his version of the Beatles' Help.
No. I mean, it might be, but that just... If this is your version of the Beatles' Help, your band sucks.
Well, yeah.
Well, okay, but I'm just...
Anyway, song begins. Warm sun, feed me up. I'm leery, loaded up. Loathing for a change, and I slip some, boil away.
Plant man.
Feeding
on that
up.
Sun.
Sure.
Warm sun.
Yep. How does it get boiled? Oh, it's too hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like when you're just, you're grass and you're hanging out and the sun at first is good, but then it's too much and you get all dried out and dead.
Right.
This is our worst episode.
Yeah. Boy, this might be the worst episode. We might cancel ourselves. Yeah. So I thought this guy might have popped a pill. Yeah. Warm sun, feed me up. I'm leery, loaded up, loathing for a change, and I slip some and boil away. That's his brain getting high, Tim.
Yeah.
Then he screams, swallowed!
Followed.
Heavy about everything but my love. Swallowed. Sorrowed. I'm with everyone, and yet not. I'm with everyone, and yet not. I'm with everyone, and yet. So, Tim, I think that he took this pill, and he's feeling euphoric, and then maybe this song is about cheating on the road. He's going out there, he's followed by millions of people who adore him for his 16 stones, and maybe some of those followers are getting to a swallowing, and he's heavy about everything but his love. So, he takes everything very, very seriously, except for the multiple people he is having casual and anonymous sex with.
Well, he's heavy about everything. So he's worried about everything. All these things are on his mind, the pressures of being in this big rock band. The only thing that doesn't weigh heavily on his mind is his love, his true love, his Gwen Stefani, who he doesn't give a shit about because he's banging all these other ladies.
Right. I thought you were going to say the only thing he is not heavy about is who's going to suck his dick tonight. Someone who has followed him will have swallowed him after the show.
Gross.
His words, not mine.
Kinda. They're not in the right order, but sure. Just want to be myself. Hey, you said, would you love to try some? Hey, you said, would you love to die some? In the middle of the world on a fish hook. You're the wave, you're the wave, you're the wave. He wants to be a happy, new wave homosexual, and instead, he's having to pretend that he's from Seattle. He's having to hang out with these drug dealers who are trying to make him do heroin so that he, fits the part better.
Interesting. I assume she just was either not into his drugs or his sex.
Yeah.
Tim, this album's bad.
It really is. I do like the, hey, you said you would love to try some. Hey, you said you'd love to die some. That's a fun way to try and peer pressure somebody. If you're a drug dealer, just, man, you said you would. You don't want to be a liar, do you? No?
You promised.
Right. Inject this mystery substance. Come on. You said you would.
Come on. Have I ever lied to you? Song continues with some Nirvana-isms, sick head, blackened lungs, and I'm a simple, selfish son.
It feels like they had some sort of studio mandate to make a verse 3 on all of these songs.
Right? And they're just always like, oh, microphone.
Yeah. Because
guy in the room.
Yeah, every single,
come on, man.
If you read through these lyrics, every single verse 3, it's this huge complete departure and decrease in quality from the rest of these already kind of bad songs.
Yeah, every time they're just like, I don't know, what's it? Domino's, Pizza Hut. You sure we need a verse 3?
It's it's the concept of like the Paul McCartney writing scrambled eggs, oh how I love your legs or whatever for Yesterday.
Right, but they didn't swap it out.
Right. Because they have nothing else, because even the lyrics that they would have swapped them out to are pretty much just about scrambled eggs.
Fair enough. All right, Tim, let's keep this thing moving. At least we can say the final episode was fast. Track number 4, Insect Kin.
I think this is about being physically, verbally, and emotionally abused by Courtney Love.
Oh, I love that. I have a completely different read.
Ew.
I will say this song sounds not very much like a Bush song, but the opening sounds a little like a Toadies song.
It does. I feel like his voice, he's trying to sound kind of Kurt Cobain-y at that, like the more
he's
frantic,
more ragged,
screamy version.
Definitely screamy.
Yeah.
All right, let's open this baby up. Iron Lung, I know you well. Deal with you like a bad spell. See the trail moon burns, red stripe and Vicodin. You were the only one. You're the censor. You'll never people me. I'm not defenseless. This is the song, guys. Tim, what you got?
He's directing this right at Courtney Love. You are the only one. You're the censor. You'll never, I don't know what never people me is. When he says I'm not defenseless, he's trying to work up the courage to talk back to her. But
Interesting.
He can't. The end of this song, it's definitely that. Anyway.
Okay, here's my read.
Okay.
Out in the desert, doing drugs with his brother, drinking Red Stripe and pounding Vicodin. Because you got the trail moon birds, and you're talking about dealing with someone like a bad spell. This sounds like tripping in the desert.
Okay, but also if he has polio?
I don't know.
Iron lung, I know you well.
Oh, I think it's a metaphor.
Oh, yeah.
For like a life support, but also a crutch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Courtney Love.
Yeah, like you would cast it away like a bad spell. I don't know what a fucking bad spell is. Witches, write in, hatePodMail@gmail.com. What's a bad spell? Also, if you'd like to put a hex on Tim, feel free.
Is it a negative spell? Like you're trying to have something bad happen, or is it just like a poorly written spell?
Executed spell. Yeah. Or is it like a bad spell? Like it's 1986 and you're like, man, that's bad. Probably not that.
Maybe.
I don't know which culture.
That's true.
Song continues. You were the only one. You're the censor. You'll never people me. I'm not defenseless. So I thought peopling somebody meant to be like, force him to be a conventional, like 9-to-5er kind of guy.
Maybe it's a pro Courtney Love song. So he's talking to everyone else. You're the censor. You'll never make me be like everyone else. I'm going to go over here and be with Courtney Love. I'm going
to be like exactly one person. You fucking sheep. You're just like everybody else. I am just like one man and he's dead. So I can pretty much take his life. Oh my God. I'm not listening to Bush anymore.
Get over here, Steve Albini and Courtney Love. Let's do this.
Raven Gosdale is terrifying. All right. Song continues. In the afternoon, as the light dims, build a life out of all this Semtex. You're the brightest one. You were the center.
The perfect opposite of what you ask for. He's saying, this is directed at Kurt Cobain. You are the brightest one. You are the center. But the Semtex, you burnt out too quickly, like that Neil Young song, and the light has dimmed, and I'm just going to Tom Ripley this whole thing.
Yeah, no, I love this reading. I thought, as I said, I thought it was the brother who was always the golden boy, and then he's literally going to blow him up with Semtex.
Yeah. I mean,
I know what to do with you.
I feel like, though, that's a little bit biased, because if there's one word in this song that you have a lot of familiarity with. One concept, one product. It's blowing people up with Semtex.
Whoa, bro.
Don't call me bro. I don't care for it.
Don't imply I blow people up with Semtex.
I don't think I implied it.
You stated it overtly.
Yes. I believe you have blown up at least one human being with Semtex.
Are you saying that I set out to blow them up with Semtex, or that I was using Semtex and a person exploded as a result?
I don't know. I was watching from afar. I just know what I saw. I don't know your intention. It seemed like you were
I hate
trying.
when people watch me.
Yep. It's because of things like this.
Not just because of things like this, but it is a big part. The chorus goes, it's not just one way, a negative factor. With all these wasps out, I'd better take cover. Better take cover. I will say, and you may not remember, Tim, this isn't that far off from like Queens of the Stone Age or them Crooked Vultures.
Yeah.
Like the musical stylings, which again, we're giving a lot of a hand wave to the music because it varies from like kind of, some of it's terrible, and we'll point that out. By and large, you could say it varies from like largely ignorable to, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just not songs. It's just jam sessions.
Yeah, and the lyrics are not lyrics. I think you hit it really well when you said this is like Jim Morrison detritus. It's terrible.
Ooh, I like that. Maybe that's the shirt. Jim Morrison detritus.
Yes. No reference to the show. You're just claiming that's what you are.
Boy, that's weird. Anyway, let's see. Song continues. I never noticed you. You were the brightest one. You were wide of me, just like the English sun. I don't know what wide of me means.
I assume
just
it's
way
British
different from me.
Phrasing.
Yeah, maybe like since you were the brightest one and you were wide of me, just like the English sun, maybe that means that I was the dark spot, the black sheep. And I assume in your version, he's singing to Kurt Cobain still.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because the English sun, it's usually pretty cloudy, like the old Seattle and Depression. Yeah, he was the brightest one. But I think it's, I never noticed you. Maybe, okay, he has been obsessed with Kurt Cobain this whole time. He wanted to be Kurt Cobain. He dies, and now he's thinking, holy shit, maybe it was the muse, or maybe even she had a bigger role than that. I never noticed you, Courtney. You were the brightest one there. He's like, oh, maybe it wasn't Kurt Cobain. Maybe the source of Kurt Cobain's power was being married to Courtney Love. If I take that,
What a tragic hypothesis.
Well, okay, but he then goes on, he figures it out. You caught the light again in a perfect way. The biggest threat of all is the alleyway. You're the demon seed. You're the factor. Feel better with a little bit of plaster.
It'll blow you up.
Yeah, he has immediately figured out. He's just like, ooh, maybe it's her. Oh my God, what have I done?
Plaster up those head holes with some Semtex and take care of things.
Jesus Christ.
Allegedly. His words, not mine.
It's not just one way, a negative factor with all these wasps out. I better take cover, better take cover, better take cover.
Wraps up with, there's all the pain in the way she talks, all the pain in the way she walks, all the pain in the wave goodbye, all the pain in the way she smiles, all the pain in her fatal charm, all the pain in her arms, in her arms. That fits pretty nicely for your theory, Tim. I thought that maybe that's why he was murdering his brother. You were always better than me. You were always bright like the English sun. I was the dark spot. I had that weird new wave phase. Now I'm back to fill your holes with putty and blow them up and take your wife.
Fair enough.
We already know he's got a habit of rippling.
That's true.
Oh my God, Tim, maybe. I want to be real careful with my words here. I want to be sensitive to the dead and to the living alike. This might have been a plan that somebody didn't have to enact due to a fatal coincidence.
Well, he's probably really pissed that he didn't get to enact it, right? He was going to just slide into that, literally into that Kurt Cobain skin role, whatever, and just claim to be him. But unfortunately, his death was too public, and so now he has to be
People will notice.
Yeah, right.
No one would have noticed if Kurt Cobain suddenly had jet black hair. It looked like he constantly was wearing eyeliner and had a British accent.
Right. I think you get it. I do kind of like the more frantic music buildups that happen a couple of times in this song.
I agree. I think the music in here ain't bad. That's going to change, though. Track number 5, Cold Contagious. Tim, this is a 6-minute song.
Yeah, it need not be.
It feels like the Bush version of a Counting Crows song, and I am not into it.
You don't like soft bush?
No, I don't like... well, actually, that's not true, because I think my favorite song on this album might be Soft Bush. But let's see. Wherever you are, you will carry always truth of the scars, darkness of your faith. Slowly move on. How did we get to here? It all went wrong. Gravity claiming all your tears. Everything looks so much better now. Looks so much better now. Tim, what happened?
Well, I don't think the rest of the song backs this up, but just based on that, sounds like the title is accurate. Cold Contagious. This is about face herpes.
Truth of the scars, darkness of your faith. Faith that you can't get herpes?
Everything looks so much better now, looking so much better now, it comes and goes.
Yeah, maybe she got on that Valtrex train.
Possibly.
God, remember when those were commercial every other minute?
I don't remember commercial television.
How nice for you. We don't really know what the darkness of her faith. She could be a Satanist or a Lutheran.
Oh,
Tough
God,
to say.
the Lutherans.
I know, right? Or Episcopalian, God forbid.
Just be Catholic.
Just believe in transubstantiation, you fuckers.
Yeah, I think that overall it's a John Lennon kind of thing. It's a dad abandoning his kid and the kid being better off and then being pissed off when the dad wants to be in his life later.
Okay, we definitely picked up on a relationship that was torn asunder and then somebody comes sniffing back around later on in life.
Sure.
I thought it was a slightly different thing, though. I thought it was a business partnership. Maybe like they opened up a Subway sandwich franchise together.
Okay.
Slowly move on. How did we get to here? It all went wrong. Gravity claiming all your tears. Everything looks so much better now. So yeah, he's moved on and things are looking better, but there was a lot of downward crying at some point.
Sure. And again, for both of these situations, the face herpes is a great metaphor.
Absolutely. And I'm not convinced this song is not about herpes simplex.
HSV1? Unless you're in Japan, in which case it's HSV2 on your face, 1 on your genitals. It's backward.
What about herpes?
You have to in my line of work, Garrett. Podcaster.
Oh, I don't want to miss this, Tim. He quietly whispers, skinful. What does skinful mean?
I don't know. I think it's like sinful, but like sexy, skinny, and like...
Oh, I was going to ask, is it sin full of skin, or is it a skin full of sin? Like a skin sack of sin.
I mean, that would be where you keep it.
Terrifying Santa Claus. Oh, what do I have in my skin sack? Nothing? I hope it's nothing. Oh, I have a big bowl of sin for you, Timmy. S&M Santa's terrifying.
German Santa Claus.
Oh, German Santa. Let's see. You will get yours is repeated at least 3 times in a row.
Yes.
He wants retribution for the wrongdoing. And then, as you and I have alluded to, this person's come sniffing around again, and he says, you have no right to ask me now. You were never that around, and I have missed. In your version, Dad's back in the picture. Maybe he saw his abandoned son on the MTV, or perhaps caught Nirvana Unplugged and mistook him for his son. Same difference. In any event, try to get back in his life. I'm thinking this was maybe a girlfriend or an ex-wife. They opened a couple Subway sandwiches together, but then it got kind of hard, you know? It's not easy, Tim. Realized it's a lot of work, and she just bailed. Now they've come, she's coming around again. She's like, how are the stores doing? He's like, you don't even have the right to ask me that.
Yeah, I like this. I really like this. Yeah, because if there's one thing I know, it's you make enough of those Italian trios, and I mean, at some point, you just never want to see the person again.
Absolutely. You talked me into a lifetime of cold cut combos? No, thank you.
You know, Subway has that very specific bread smell. If you work there,
kind of makes you think it's not bread.
It's not bread. I don't know what it is,
right.
But allegedly it's not bread. But that smell gets in your clothes. It gets in your skin,
your nose. It gets in your body. Mm-hmm. You die in a horrible car accident on the way home from Subway sandwich. Sandwich artist dead on the street. They cut you open. Smell like a fresh loaf of Italian rye. Disgusting. Song continues, and I have missed reality day trips and your suit me up ways. Turn out the light switch. We've been awake for days, and no one's coming round here no more. No one's coming round here. I'm better off, by the way. I'm deeply grounded. See, now, Tim, I don't know if you remember those early Quiznos days. Subway was not springing for those ovens.
No, absolutely not. And I think it was a mistake that they eventually gave in.
I don't think you understand business.
Subway has the cold sandwiches. Quiznos has the hot sandwiches. Some people like cold, some people like hot, you divide it down the middle, and you go your own ways. It's like, Garrett, it's like Bloods and Crips. Never do they cross upon each other's territory. They just leave it alone, and they stay on their own sides of the city, stay on their own sides of the street. No one gets hurt. But when you start having your toasters...
your hot and cold sandwich, folks. Your toasties and your cold cuts mixing.
Right.
Why don't you get to your side of town, cold cut?
It's going to cause a sandwich tornado, is my point.
I was picturing more of a sandwich West Side Story.
At the very best, you put a cold sandwich in the same plastic as a hot sandwich, that cold sandwich is going to get all humid and then soggy. It's just disgusting.
They both are going to be sopping wet. I agree with it. Listen, I have so much to say about this topic.
This could be why I hate this sandwich.
Or why I love this sandwich. Let's go positive, Tim, on the next one.
We do need a new topic for a new podcast, seeing as how this is the last episode.
Since this one is allegedly going to end after this episode, and honestly, if there was a vote, I might vote for it because this is terrible.
There can be.
But back to this sandwich talk. I am a lifelong hot sandwich man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but
I've seen you go both ways.
I have gone both ways.
You like
Garrett.
a club.
I'm like I don't want to call myself sandwich Jesus, but I commune between both the heavenly and the earthly. I am...
Is that the most well-known part of Jesus? By sandwich?
Yes.
Now, are you cold curious or hot curious?
I'm mostly cold curious. I think I agree with you. I'm mostly a hot man.
Yeah, I'm straight up hot sandwich all day. In fact, there's 2 sandwich shops that I refuse to go to in this city because they offer 0 hot sandwiches.
Name them.
I will not. Anyway, let's see. So eventually, he's better off. He's grounded. He appreciates what he's built on his own, those 3 Subway sandwich franchises. Then there's a super weird guitar solo. Don't know if you even remember that.
Nope.
That's smart. Oh, you know what? I moved off the sandwich topic way too fast. Tim, now you and I have been to Katz's Deli in our soon-to-be second home, away from home, New York, New York. I don't love a tall sandwich.
Here's the thing. And part of your problem with this, if I may, is the one time I had a horrific ear infection and we went and had hamburgers and I couldn't open my mouth far enough to get the hamburger in my face. And I feel like that is playing into this a bit. But I agree, more is not necessarily better.
I do not see the connection between the two, but
it's tough. So I had to open my mouth really wide to get that sandwich or that hamburger in, and it disgusted you. So now when you have to open your mouth very wide to get that
I just
sandwich
picture your dumb gaping maw.
It wasn't gaping. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. You couldn't gape.
Gross. Anyway, this is
all the mouth gape you're looking for.
Episode we've ever done. Anyway, so I agree with you on the cats is maybe give me 2 sandwiches. I'll eat 2 sandwiches.
But here's your problem, Tim. Earlier you were saying Subway shouldn't have given in on the toasted front, but they had microwaves and Quiznos has cold subs.
Well, you should never. First of all, Quiznos does not have cold subs.
What are you talking about?
They don't. Doesn't exist.
That is untrue. Granted, I haven't been to a Quiznos in 20 years, but
I don't think it exists. But here's the thing, Garrett.
Just don't toast it.
We all knew the microwave was a terrible decision.
God,
that's not a thing you do.
They still use it. Ugh. Well, I mean, Subway. Don't fucking eat Subway. If you're listening and you've got Subway in front of you, or you're planning on eating it ever again, don't.
On the other hand, though, Subway, if you are listening, feel free to sponsor our new sandwich podcast.
If you would like to hear Tim and I change our tune on a dime, just sponsor the show or sponsor us. If you would like me to begin every sentence with "eat fresh," that could be arranged. I have a price for my eat fresh sentences. Welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. Eat fresh. I'm sorry, did you finish that with an eat fresh? Yeah, what's up?
I'm paid by Subway.
I am legally owned by Subway. Okay, anyway, we have 6 more. You will get yours. So he's still pretty bitter, even though he says he's happy. And of all things, the cold contagious. We didn't even really touch on it, but he says it a whole bunch throughout the song, and I still don't really know what it means.
The only thing I can possibly think of is that it's some sort of cold sore. Or possibly,
I was thinking some cold cut.
Could possibly, yes. So I think this works. We can put these together, Garrett. What he's saying is that even though they have broken up, even though that she is out of his life and out of his franchise, his many franchises, she just keeps popping back up like face herpes. Now that she sees how successful the franchises are, she wants back in, but only to get money from it. She's not interested in working there. She just wants to own a stake in it and just have money accumulate. That's not how this works. You are a sandwich magnate. You gotta actually actually do the work. You got to cut the bread. You got to get that disgusting, slimy ham and put it on there.
Ugh, so slimy. If you're the sandwich magnate, you're not doing that, Tim. You're not slicing the bread.
Garrett, maybe not the sandwich magnate. I'm sure he has some sort of like step stool that he stands on, so he oversees the whole restaurant. I would. But if you're...
I am exactly 4 inches taller than everyone else in this room. What does that tell you? I am in charge.
Right. But if you have abandoned him and his business and you want to come back, you better be prepared to slice some bread. You better be prepared to get those loose plastic gloves on and separate some ham slices.
Yeah, defrost some of that roast beef. Take some of the lettuce out of a bag and put it into a bin. So gross. But I'm assuming, Tim, he's probably not a magnate. Let's say he's got 3 successful Subway sandwiches.
That sounds magnate-ish.
Well, that's the sweet spot, right? He's not working in there. He might check in, but he's not cutting any bread. There's no stool.
I think he's got a stool. If maybe he's not always there, but when he's there, it doesn't matter. This is ridiculous. The point is, he's coming around and he's throwing his weight around.
She's sniffing around now that he's driving around in maybe not like a Jaguar, but like a used Lexus. She's like, all right, that's he's got that three franchise money. Maybe he's looking at opening up, I don't know, Shipley's Donuts.
Ooh, I like Shipley's.
I do too. Let's go get Shipley's after this. Okay. Track number 6, a tendency to start fires.
This should be a good song just based solely on the title, and it is not. This one really leans into that word salad thing. These words fit together maybe by sound, but there's no conceptual reason for them to be together. There's no meaning here.
First notes of the song. Well, this song is complete nonsense.
Yep,
which is not good because you guys have heard the other nonsense.
Yeah. Strange zoo, strange blaze, douse my head in flames, coming through, got to get some, happiness is a bad son, forceps, kitchen tools, deconstruct your every move, feels better when you get here, guillotine just got here. What is this?
Here's what I think. This guy met a lady in a bookstore. At the bookstore, she was reading something about, let's say, the French Revolution. Or, you know what, even better, maybe meets her on a train. I don't know. Either way, whatever you prefer. Reading a book about Marie Antoinette, and he's like, oh, I love the French Revolution. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, of course. In fact, I'm having a theme party tomorrow. You should come. And this is a common trait for this guy. He always just goes all out, leans way too into the fire. And so he's thrown together a hasty French Revolution themed party that nobody wants to go to or fully understands how to attend just to impress a girl he's just met. So he's got the forceps, the kitchen tools. He's being a good host, but at the same time, he's deconstructing her every move. Feels better now that she's there. And oh, look, the guillotine just got here.
I like that. I really like that. What part of a party includes forceps?
3 a.m. party? Ketamine party? I don't know. What party would get weird? Cocaine and mushrooms. That seems like a bad idea. I think that could probably end in forceps.
Fair enough.
Also, forceps is a vague term. You're thinking about gynecological forceps because you're a pervert.
I'm thinking about tweezers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what forceps are. You're thinking about speculum. That's not what I'm thinking.
I am.
Yeah.
I call it a metal duck. No, what I'm actually thinking of is salad tongs.
Oh, yeah, okay. He's just, he couldn't think of the word for salad tongs. What I thought you were going to say is he met this girl. She's reading about the French Revolution. He's talking about this party he's going to have, but he's just spiraling. He's so nervous. He's just sputtering yeah. We're going to have a strange zoo, strange blaze.
Going way overboard.
Yeah, happiness is a bad son. We'll have forceps, to pick up the salad.
I'm going to douse my head in flames.
Yeah.
There's going to be a guillotine.
It's going to be a good party, but it's going to be even better when you're here. We're going to have a guillotine. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to overthrow the proletariat. I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a live band. It's Bush. Bush is going to be there. They're going to be singing about this.
It's not going to be good. Back bend, back break. Please yourself to make it rate. Live it all at your own cost. So many just got lost.
I think he's breaking his back. He's going way over the top for these. This is not the first theme party he has thrown for a girl he met randomly on a train. And,
so is he having to hire actors at this point, or his
depends
friends
on the theme, Tim?
So at some of these, his friends are still showing up. up.
Oh, yeah. He's got great friends. They want him to have a happy, fulfilling relationship. And Tim throws a hell of a theme party. But they're just weird.
Yeah.
How do you throw a theme party for John Grisham's The Client?
A lot of dockets. I assume some robes.
He met a girl on a train who was reading the John Bolton autobiography. Worst theme party ever.
Not if you get John Bolton to come.
Not if you get everybody to wear a giant mustache. Anyway, let's see. He says, leaning for fire, leaning to fire, leaning to fire. Here's Tomorrow Man, best of my ability. This is the chorus. I want to be clear. The chorus is, here's Tomorrow Man, best of my ability.
It sounds like he's doing Better Man.
Yeah, but shoutier.
He's trying to get you to remember Pearl Jam's Better Man and think, oh, this is also a fun song that you'll like.
Yes, but it isn't. Song continues, instinct, bare-boned, light it up, take it home. You will be all things. You'll get what you bring. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take?
I guess.
You gotta light it up. You gotta follow your instinct. Go out there bare-boned, talking about his dick. You will be all things. You'll get what you bring. So, Tim, you bring a positive attitude, a couple of white wigs, and maybe a guillotine. You might get laid that night.
That's what I've been doing wrong.
Not enough guillotines.
Not enough guillotines. With our own tongue, here's Tomorrow Man, best of my ability, chasing what I can. Here's Tomorrow Man, end of the century, chasing what I can. Here's Tomorrow Man. I assume this is just describing his next party. She's reading some sort of, science fiction book, and now he's
What was that book about the gastrointestinal system Mary Roach wrote?
Oh, yeah, Gulp.
Gulp? Yeah, she's reading Gulp.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that theme.
It's a lot of like slides, but when you turn around after and look at what you've slid through, it's
like baked beans.
Yes.
I'm picturing a lot of double dare obstacles, to be honest.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
A big nose.
Exactly. Honestly, it's kind of a fun party.
Studying for your MCATs, huh? I'm having a party tonight. You should stop by. I think you'll find it very relevant. Huh?
That's not a good party. No good party ever starts like that.
No. Track number 7, Mouth.
Like your mouth.
Here's the one I knew the best. I'm curious, Tim, do you want to start with a mouth count or end with a mouth count?
Let's start with it. What'd you get?
I got 34.
I got 36. The outro is 15 in a row, though.
Interesting. I went purely off of how they were transcribed, so it's possible I missed a couple.
Maybe. They have absolutely nothing to say, and as a result, I have very little to say, but I assume you also listened to the American Werewolf in Paris Stingray mix again as well to get the full experience.
I did, yes.
Okay.
This version, the album version, very sparse, sounds the most like poetry over a very small musical accompaniment.
It dawned on me, maybe his songwriting process, he's just a plagiarist, right? But to get away with it, he obviously can't copy it exact. So what he does is he puts the songs on other people's songs that are actually about something really loud. Then he shoves his head in a bucket of water. And then he just writes down everything he thinks the lyrics are in that kind of distorted state. So it still has the cadence and syntax of an actual song, but
with none of the context or meaning.
Right, because it's just like gobbledygook that he thinks maybe he heard, maybe.
Agreed. Now, I was happy to hear that the Stingray mix was just a pseudonym for Bush themselves.
Yes, they just kind of drum machined and discoed it out or whatever.
Based on the information you've shared with us, Tim, about not living your truth, basically, Bavin Gosdale was ashamed that people would think that his electronic music was, I don't know, gay. I quite honestly think he might.
Right.
He might have thought people might think it's gay.
You're using this in the actual
homosexual sense.
He
was in the closet allegedly.
Maybe allegedly.
Maybe. I don't know. It could have been a phase. I'm not here to tell people who they should fuck or how.
You give advice, sure.
That's what I'm saying. Unless you want me to tell you. In which case,
it feels like that whole remix album is the music he secretly wanted to make.
Yeah. Live your truth, Gabby.
Yeah. I think we decided on the Spooktacular Spooktoberfest Spook Extravaganza crossover episode that this might actually peripherally kind of be about werewolves.
Yes, we did. Although this time around, I gotta say, struggled to get there entirely.
Well, sure, but you hadn't just watched. Well, that's actually not true. I did see you watch An American Werewolf in Paris this week, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
It was on mute, though.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
It was just the Julie Bowen scenes.
Oh dear. Okay, Aaron.
I'm a Hughes Bowen head. Anyway, the song goes, Tim. You gave me this, made me give. Some sort of bargain or trade has been established.
So they have given him fame, fortune, etc. But what they have made him give is the very essence of who he is as a person.
Who is they in that sentence?
Suits, record suits.
Oh, okay. But he's had to abandon all things Gavin.
Yes, the disco, the joy, the men. Yeah, which
Public
again,
men.
What's that?
Public men, at least. We don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And again, it's none of our business. We don't care. I'm just saying, live your truth.
Absolutely.
Your silver grin, you still sticking it in. You have soul machine. Some sort of trade. He may have had to give over his soul, and it may have been extracted using a soul machine.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm also picturing the containment unit from Ghostbusters.
I mean, it's not. I guess you could use a machine to do it, but you don't need a machine.
Okay, you seem to be speaking with a level of confidence I'm alarmed by. How would you remove a soul?
Did you ever see that 2005 King Kong movie?
Oh, those bugs?
No. Oh, God, no, Garrett, no. That's
not
horrific.
the dinosaur one.
Yeah, where he grabs his dinosaur mouth and he does that. If you do that to a person, a sparkly rainbow gas escapes and you just breathe that right in. You got their soul.
You have managed to combine the most disturbing parts of King Kong and Dr. Sleep. Congratulations. What's wrong with you? God damn it, Tim. This might be the last episode. Gino, we're going to have a moment later. I'm uncomfortable. Soul machine. All right, silver grin, sticking it in, some sort of machine, sucking out souls, or at least storing them.
Yeah.
Song continues. The longest kiss, peeling furniture days, drift madly to you, pollute my heart drain. You have broken at me. Broken me.
It's
some sort of spell.
I don't know, man. Again, each one of these lines is like, maybe what he's done is he's got some sort of, like, for every
line, there's one word that's been swapped with a Mad Lib.
Maybe. It could be something, though, as simple as he's chosen the number 7, and then he picks 100 different songs, chooses the 7th line from each one of those, puts those in the exact order that he read them in, and that's just his song. The Longest Kiss, that's from a song. Peeling Furniture for Days, different song. Drift Madly to You, different song.
Could be some sort of cipher.
Maybe. Yeah, it's
Let's get Nicolas Cage on the case.
Oh, yeah.
Might lead to the Constitution.
You know what? Here's what we do. We scrap everything we've done so far. We get Nicolas Cage in as a guest host.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, okay. I mean, if I could make that happen, Tim, I would. I love that guy.
You do, and you're right to. We should have hired him as an intern instead of what's obviously Tom Brady.
It is Tom Brady, obviously. And it will be proven when the football season starts and Tom remains here. 6 days a week.
Yeah, he probably doesn't actually need to practice at this point, right? He's got it.
No, he's very good at football. Both Tom Brady and Tom Brady.
Of course. So one would say they're exactly as good as one another.
Virtually.
Yeah.
Virtually.
Right.
There's a difference. Mm-hmm. God, I hate you. Exclusively hurls footballs at your face. I taught him that. Okay. The Longest Kiss, Peeling Furniture Days. I think he's under some sort of spell. Time is passing rapidly and he can't escape her. Who cares?
Okay.
All your mental armor drags me down. Nothing hurts me like your mouth. She's mean to him and says hurtful words.
Okay. Still talking about Courtney Love.
Ooh, good call. Your loaded smiles, pretty just desserts. Wish it all for you, so much it never hurts. He wants so much for her that he's never, and I don't even know. Do you know?
No, I don't.
Even my notes say I don't know. He says, you have soul machine, stolen me. If somebody stole your soul, do you think you would notice?
No. Well,
I don't either.
Let me rephrase. You'd notice when you die.
Okay, let's build on that. Because first, let me just mention the chorus goes on again and it adds 11 mouths to the end of it. I'm not joking. Actual count. There's 11 mouths at the end of the chorus. Then he says, though, we've been missing long before, never found our way home. We've been missing long before, where we'll find our way. Tim, when you die, do all souls immediately go to a resting place? Or, because I'm trying to figure out, do some souls remain trapped in this mortal plane?
I mean, of course, that's what ghosts are.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, and I was starting to wonder, how does one end up trapped here? Now, oftentimes it's because you have unfinished business via quantum leap, but I'm wondering, are people capturing souls, forcing them to stay as torture, and potentially even, you always hear about people selling their soul, right? Sell their soul to the devil for, guitar skills. What is the currency of a soul? What is the exchange rate of a soul? What does one do with it?
That's the benefit that the devil has, is that he knows that you don't know what it's actually worth. So he can just give you any old thing with it, right? Like you could have asked for
I get that. But I'm just saying, like, once you've got that soul, we're doing it.
I assume there's like some sort of free energy machine that you're building with it. Like you
Did you watch Spider-Man 2 recently? I think this is the second veiled reference to Dr. Otto Octavius.
I don't think so.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand, Peter.
Right, but it's souls. It's you want to...
But it runs on souls.
Well, sure.
It's like Spider-Man 2, except for the whole thing kind of runs on souls.
Sure, just make like a big circular pipe. You put a bunch of souls in there. At some point, you got like a little wheel in there. And as they run around endlessly,
chasing each other,
move that wheel. Then you got some...
Maybe that's the soul machine.
Oh, there you go.
This is our worst episode. Then there's a chorus and an outro that are basically the exact same, but add 24 new mouths to the count.
Ugh, pure gibberish.
Track number 8, Straight No Chaser.
Satellites of pain.
I wasn't expecting a slower opening with violins based on the title.
True. I do kind of like the string intro to this.
I do too.
Works.
Oh, God, let's just keep moving as fast as we can, Tim. This is tough. Always be there. Face I live with. Always be there. Face I live with. Abscess memory with broken fingers. All the fallen down angels, raw pain, distress.
I think this might be about the pain of having dated Courtney Love.
I love it. I thought it was clearly the memory of a person's face whom they'd broken up with, or possibly someone who had broken up with the person, but they owned property together and neither are going to leave.
Ooh, just I Love Lucia.
Or maybe his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, or current roommate is killing angels, or at least collecting dead angels. All the fallen down angels, broken fingers, raw pain, and distress. Sounds like angel murder. Listeners, write in. How do you murder an angel?
I assume some sort of crossbow that shoots crosses.
Oh, I love that. Or at least a crossbow in the shape of a cross that shoots... smaller crosses? It's all in the way we know that we could have had it all. They had this perfect life, Tim, and it seemed like nothing could shake them. And then he learned she's hunting angels. Some satellites of pain can't always be ignored. War on all sides. War on all sides.
Here's the thing. I like the repetition of war on all sides.
I agree.
I like how he says it. I just don't think it goes anywhere. If this song, though, was called War on All Sides and had like a theme built around that, I know, pretty fucking crazy, you might have something there.
Completely agree. But instead, I'm thinking maybe this angel killer grew up in an incredibly religious house. She didn't process that trauma. That satellite of pain was left ignored, and it led to her hunting angels as an adult. And maybe now the angels, ooh, Tim, maybe now the angels are hunting her.
Ooh, some sort of heavenly revenge.
Yeah, it's sort of a Blade situation. You're out there murdering angels. Angels have finally gotten together and like, enough of this bitch. You know how angels talk? They all get together and it's like, hey, has anybody heard of this lady who's going around murdering us?
See, here's the problem. This is a fascinating concept that would be fun to build an album around, or at least be fun to build an episode around, but it's just kind of a thrown off line.
Absolutely, because these songs are bad. Drink life as it comes. Straight, no chaser. Life as it comes. Straight, no chaser. Don't hide from your problems, Tim. You gotta deal with them head on, or you could end up in an alleyway hunched over a dead angel sawing off the wings for your trophy room.
Well, but okay, sure. But then that same verse or whatever it is continues, climb inside of you, away from strangers, building a system of alleys and motorways inside of you.
I figured this out. Took me a long time.
Okay.
But I think you'll agree.
Fascinated to hear.
Well, we've just been assuming this entire time that this person who's murdering angels is a normal sized person.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they or perhaps it's either a little person who's climbing inside of a
That's not what I said.
So, yeah, I think so. It's like the Krang from
Oh, okay. Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, from Ninja Turtles, but a little person instead of just some sort of horrible chewing gum looking brain. But here's the thing. Angels, I assume, are when I don't assume, angels I know are scary and gigantic and winged.
Sure.
They've got fiery swords and whatnot. So perhaps he's got some sort of contraption. He's a normal size, or she's a normal sized person that gets into a contraption kind of like Aliens, you know, with the little robot fighting thing.
Oh, okay. The mech suit.
Yes,
Gotcha.
because she sees the approaching horde of angels and is just like, well, I can't. I'm just gonna pretend to have a broken arm and see if the angel will help me get this couch into my van this time. They're all coming. I'm gonna have to face them head on. So she has to get in some sort of mech suit.
Okay. Yeah, no, building a system of alleys and motorways. So allow me to reframe it ever so slightly. I love it. Well done. What I was picturing was more of a Galactus situation.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, for anybody who's unfamiliar, and if you are, congratulations on not being a huge nerd, Galactus is a giant planet-eating entity from the Marvel Universe. You'll see them in movies in about 4 years.
You could see it right now if you just hop on Disney Plus and watch the worst series ever, the Silver Surfer series.
Oh, that's true. He is the Herald of Galactus. But I believe a la Futurama, you can, like, build a city inside of Galactus. I think. I might have made that up. But he's huge, so maybe you're just going to build a city on the back of him. So you love this giant lady so much, you're going to build a series of alleys and motorways so that you can live on this giant for all time. You're going to start a civilization there. But, God, he does say climb inside of you.
Yeah, it's got some sort of robot. He's going to get inside of and fight angels.
I like it. Track number 9, History.
By morning after, struggling my name.
I'm not sure if this is a bit that they are doing, but this
What
song...
do you mean a bit?
This song features this jackass yelling mouth another 10 to 15 times.
The mouth bit. What, do you think they're playing a game of meow?
Yeah.
I think you're right. Hey, mates, on the next album, let's see how many times we can say the word mouth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mouths. This song is pretty straightforward, unfortunately.
Are you on the internet side about what this is about?
Well, he uses a lot of very specific references. I don't know what else it could be.
Okay. Do you want to throw it out there then?
Sure. Well, this is about an unwanted pregnancy.
Yeah. An abortion. You can say it.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Oh, the get this disease cut out of my throat? Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. Gave my love 2,000 yesterdays. Nothing is wrong. I am always a little late. Probably will, probably won't. Get this disease cut out of my throat.
Yeah, saying...
Throats aren't where babies are.
No, I understand. It's a metaphor.
For her womb?
Yes.
I don't get it.
Probably...
I don't. I promise you.
It's not good songwriting, but I believe that's the
okay,
gist.
let me try to meet you halfway. Let's touch tips.
Again, because Garrett, I take it back. We're about to touch tips. Go ahead.
Right. So, gave my love 2,000 yesterdays. Shorthand, we've had sex like 2,000 times and never used any sort of protection, and it's always been fine. Nothing's wrong. I'm always a little
that's
late.
From his point of view. She's been on the pill this whole time, stupid.
Wait, what?
He's saying, nothing's wrong. Nothing's been wrong. Nothing, like, it's been fine every other time, right? Because she's been on the...
I think she's saying that.
Oh.
And then, because she says, I am always a little late.
You're right.
So she's like, nothing's wrong. Yeah. Listen, I've had sex with countless men, thousands of men, 2,000 to be specific, and it's never been an issue. Never once have I used protection. And so probably will, probably won't get this disease cut out of my throat. Best I can do, maybe I'll get this stupid voice box cut out of my throat for saying things like, no, we don't need to use a condom.
I think she's saying probably will, probably won't. She's contemplating having an abortion there.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. All of a sudden, you come my way, baby believer. After all those times of we don't need a condom, suddenly you're a baby believer?
I won't be saved by morning after, struggling by named slave turned to master. History moans, mouth of our father. History moans, mouth of my father. Mouth of my father. So she's not going to be saved by the morning after pill. She, instead of being...
She's no longer slave to her parents. She's turned master over her child.
Sure.
Or he. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, whatever.
History moans, mouth of our father. I'm assuming history repeats itself. Just as my father accidentally got a woman pregnant, here I sit in the same boat.
Sure.
Edge of my bed, benzodrine telephone, struggling to speak, sicker than the sickest dog, falling faster than a liar's grin. We need to be saved from the shit we're in. He's a little freaking out a little bit, looking for a quote, unquote, solution to this baby problem.
Right, and then he thinks of it finally. I believe in you. I have found the perfect way to bring me down.
What? Is that what he says? Mm-hmm. Oh. Did you happen to write this down? I won't be saved by all your yesterdays. Piss on my grave. Piss on the underlay. History moans, mouth of our father. I think he's sort of blaming her for getting pregnant and ruining things, and it's never really happened before, isn't really solving the problem.
Right, yeah. Just get the old bobo.
I think it's too late, especially if you live in Texas.
About 15 states now. It's all coming down.
Great. That's going to end super good.
I do kind of like the strings at the end. It has a very, I think, intentionally psycho vibe to it.
Yeah, I think it sounds good, but again, it's just not connected to anything.
Sure.
Oof, Tim, this has been brutal. Let's keep going. Track 10, Synapse.
Any idea why it's called Synapse?
No. I mean, okay, so a synapse is a space between neurons. So it's maybe a space between two people. I don't know.
Like a junction or a decision in a relationship?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it quick then. I don't mind this. Barefoot again. Just a skinful. What? What we choose to forget. Just a skinful of what we choose to forget.
Maybe. What makes you forget, Garrett? Heroin. How do you use heroin sometimes? You skin pop.
Sure. Oh, just a skinful.
Yeah.
To help him choose to forget. I thought that he found himself in a familiar situation again, locked out of the flat, as they like to say, with no shoes.
Yes. Could be. On
having
heroin.
done the same old thing. Yeah, we don't know. He's definitely lost some time. He says, thinking you know, thinking you see all sides, casting a stone from your hand. Yeah, right. So people think it's easy to solve a problem. Could be a difficult relationship. I'm thinking, Tim, werewolf.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he woke up next to a skin full of empty deer or person, and he's barefoot. He's been gallivanting, and people think it's so easy to not run around murdering livestock and eating it on a full moon. But if you're a werewolf's got a werewolf.
Yeah, honestly, for everybody, it's not that easy.
That's pretty easy for most of us.
Takes
Hell
dedication.
is where the heart is. Don't eat live animals raw. Shouldn't need to say that. Hell is where the heart is. Synapse again. Nothing more I can do. I haven't done again. He's just going to keep doing it, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, there's nothing. And once you've tasted that live animal blood, you're not going back. Just going to keep doing it.
Even if you're not a werewolf at the time.
Sure.
I bet you never listen. Burning holes in all your clothes. I used to think that was bunny holes.
I mean, his pronunciation's not great.
Razorblade Suitcase. All the tricks of the trade. Favorite ways you can lose. Favorite ways you can hate. So using your emotional baggage to manipulate your partner so that you can win and lose battles strategically in order to get what you want from them.
Sure.
Yeah, who cares?
Track number 11, Communicator. Is this title ironic?
Because of the veritable, complete, and total lack of words in the song?
Yes. It's for a song called Communicator. There is no content here.
It's 4.5 minutes and there's like 8 words.
Somewhere, sometime, all things will be fine. That's the first verse. That's
Great.
The first verse. And it never seems to stop. That's the pre-chorus. Wonder if I've met my wife. That's the chorus. This is a garbage song. I do kind of like the line of wonder if I've met my wife, but I suspect that he means that in the more like romantic sense of like, have I met my soulmate? Not like, have I met somebody I'm going to marry at some point?
Oh, I took it as, have I met the person I was meant to marry and didn't do anything?
Oh, how tragic.
Telling. This mortal soil around me, mortal feeling I have found, surrounded by your glory, hold me now so that I never drown. He may believe that he's God and he has to become mortal in order to marry this woman he's fallen in love with, and now he's worried because he doesn't know how to swim and he thinks he could drown at any moment.
None of that tracks.
Well, I think it does. Mortal soil around me, mortal feeling I have found, surrounded by your glory, hold me now so I never drown. Prove me wrong, bro.
I can't. As you said, there's like 8 words in this song and it's 4.5 minutes long.
All right, track number 12, Bone Driven. I think I enjoy this song the most out of all of them on the album.
Yeah, it's top.
It bothers to have a chorus.
Yeah. Well, again, the chorus, though, is just pretty much the same word repeated. I don't know if you would even call it a chorus, really.
There's 3 lines.
Fair,
we'll get there.
But 2 of those lines are 1 word, so...
Allegedly, the song refers to Guy Bone Johnson, who was the band's bus driver on their 1995 tour. But if that's true, that means that this song is literally about being driven around in a bus.
Yeah, and it's also, like, I would be very concerned with some of these lyrics if I were that bus driver.
I choose to think that this song, and I think it maps perfectly, is about an elite fighting force, a bunch of ragtag murderers that have been rounded up together in order to take out America's enemies.
Take me on this journey?
We're just a wish away. 27th letter. Much maligned. Beat me clever. Say you will. Never mind. Open up. Open wide. So this is the training montage, obviously. 27th letter is the castaway. The people that were almost there. There is no 27th letter of the alphabet, but it's the afterwards, the also-rans.
Yeah, I thought that implied that there's something like beyond the end. We get to 26, but there's still some...
You just have to believe in 27. 27 and it'll be there.
Yeah, it's like Chapter 27, Garrett's favorite Jared Leto film about Mark David Chapman.
That guy gained so much weight for that movie and nobody cared. Much maligned, beat me clever, say you will, never mind, open up, open wide. I think that's them going through the training. They're in boot camp and then they become bone driven. Bone driven. See, we're taking all the life.
Now,
they become bone collectors.
Oh, so is that the team name or an individual on the team's name?
This is a specific question. Let's go with the team name.
Okay.
The Bone Collectors.
That are bone driven.
Yes. They probably have a song.
They're probably, well, I would assume that they are bone drivers. And if you were to just ask what they do, they are bone driven is the verb form here.
No way. If you ask what they do, they're bone drivers and they are bone driven.
Okay.
Back to the song. To all pollutants, shave your face. We're all confusion. We're all the rage. So, Elite Force, known for its rage, is coming for the world's pollutants, so they should probably hide. Shave that face.
Now, consider this if it's about the bus driver. To all pollutants, shave your face. We're all confusion. We're all the rage. Isolate, crowd it out. All that's left, inside out. That doesn't work at all, right?
Not at all.
Fair enough.
Not at all. Heaven knows who walks away. Heaven knows who walks away. So only God's gonna sort out these bodies. 1,000 lamps won't lift the dark. Rest of our lives might have already passed. They have no regard for their own lives, Tim. They're gonna hunt you down.
Fair. The one problem here is that there's also this bridge in this song in which he says repeatedly, I was wrong and I will wait.
Maybe he tried to take out a target and rushed it, and now he's just gonna wait, take his time, hunt him down across the world.
Fair. I mean, again, it could be a romantic subplot in this as well, because it has this sort of like, sure, I fucked up, babe. We were on a break, but that doesn't mean, I just get to fuck Courtney Love in an attempt to get grunge credibility. But I'll wait forever for you to forgive me if I have to.
God, she fucked so many famous people.
Yeah, well, she had heroin, like a lot of it.
Oh my goodness, allegedly.
I don't think we need to say allegedly on that. I think very well documented. Allegedly, though, we should say. I did say allegedly.
Track 13, I hope the final song, Distant Voices.
Swallowing habits die real hard.
I wrote down, and I don't remember what any of the song's about. I don't know that I'm going to be able to prove this. I just wrote down at the start, this is all I'm reading. This is about the most extravagant of suicides. Firing yourself into the sun. What does that mean? Let's find out.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I wrote, this song is about sadness and limited options.
I don't think the options are limited if you can fire yourself into the sun.
What if it's your only option?
The world is your oyster.
I never thought I'd get away, because all there is fading fast today. Maybe you sleep well in your head. Bring on the night. Let the cold moon burn instead. Because I'm going to find my way to the sun if I destroy myself.
Oh, there it is.
Let's see. I said I thought he was in a tough situation. He's stressed. He can't sleep. And so he's going to go out there and try to find some way to solve it, even if it kills him.
Yeah, I think he's going to fire himself into the sun.
Then explain this phrase. Swallowing habits die real hard, and the coat she wore could not conceal the scars. Beneath the magic of her lace are 1,000 lonely faces she can't place. Is this song about a sad prostitute or a sad man visiting a prostitute?
The first.
Sad prostitute.
Yes.
So is she the one that's going to blast herself to the sun?
Well, I think these are two songs. It's like a Lennon and McCartney thing now.
Oh, God damn it. You can't say that.
It's maybe it's about Jeff Bezos. He's a sad man who will eventually kill himself by flying into the sun, allegedly.
I mean, that's half true, at least.
But which half, listener, you decide.
Because I'm going to find my way to the sun. If I destroy myself, I can shine on. I'm going to find my way to the sun. When I destroy myself, I can shine on. Shine, shine, shine. Sooner or later.
Shine.
That chorus makes death sound more like a solution and not a byproduct of escaping the situation. But really, Tim, I don't give a shit. The only line I want to bring up in this whole song is... Sooner or later, masturbate or lose. This whole album might be saved by this line.
I think that might be like the theme of this whole album. Like what this album's all about.
You're better off just jerking off and going to bed.
Yep. Don't make this
Tim.
album.
To best honor this album, Tim, I'd like to suggest that we mention that there is in fact a hidden track. It is 42 seconds long. It's a bunch of errant guitar noise, and no, we're not going to play any of it for you.
Fair.
How did this do?
This did well in the US and Canada. Weirdly weirdly, or maybe not so weirdly, these guys were never popular in their native UK, probably because they were pretending to not be from there. It was a number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and Canadian Billboard, number 12 in Australia, number 13 on the Austrian Ö3 Austria chart, number 38 in Belgium, number 23 on the Finnish Suomen Virallinen lista, number 6 on the Icelandic Tone list, number 10 in New Zealand, number 7 in Scotland, number 4 in the UK, number 43 on the Swedish Sverigetopplistan, and number 31 in the Dutch. It was, of course, the 11th best-selling album of 1997 in the US and is certified triple platinum in the US.
Wow, triple platinum.
3 million copies sold. You bought a copy of it.
I did.
It's, well, because this is one of those, a lot of bands have this where they have one really bad album that sells really well and it always follows a good album that they had. And it's just people, especially in this time when you didn't have the internet, or at least not as commonly, and you're just like, yeah, no, I loved the last one. I'm sure the next one will be just as good. And it is not.
So much mouth.
Yeah.
That's how it did. What did people think of it?
Well, there are 374 total ratings on Amazon, 4.7 out of 5 stars on average, 78% 5-star, 1% 1-star. Weirdly, no Robert Christgau weighing in on this.
That's a shame.
Yeah. The first review, Carl Bowers from March of 2000. I've been reading the reviews for this album, and a lot of them disgust me. I have a feeling that a lot of these people who rate Bush's album with 1 star go home and listen to Smash Mouth or Kid Rock, two of the biggest flunkies I can think of in today's popular music scene.
They're so different. They're so different.
Razorblade Suitcase is by far the best Bush CD. 16 Stone was also an awesome CD, but it lacked the rawness that the band displayed on their second album. Their music, especially on tracks such as Bone Driven and Straight No Chaser, has the amazing ability to convey the emotion that Gavin's feeling. I can understand why some people just don't get the music. It's because they're shallow and simple-minded who would rather listen to a little ditty that everyone's listening to than a song that was practically torn from the heart. 5 out of 5 stars.
That guy is a Razorblade Suitcase is my jam guy.
Yeah, it's so sad.
They finally figured it out. Wow. What else you got?
Phil S. from 2013. Some people think this band took their name from an American president. Some think that it refers to physical anatomy. Nothing could be further from the truth. The band came from a place called Shepherd's Bush. In their first 2 albums, eclipse all the rest, in my humble opinion. This one may quite well be the best one they ever released. 5 out of 5 stars.
It isn't, but of course they eclipse all other albums because there were no other albums, just these 2.
That's fair.
I wonder if that Shepherd's Bush thing is accurate.
I don't know. Who cares?
Nope.
Mike Zietz from September 11th, 2018. There we go. We got it in there. September 11th reference. Well, I gave it 4 stars because Amazon sent me a 2004 reissue copy. That's okay. CDs are cheap. I'll buy a new one. First off, I became a fan in 95 during the 16 Stone era. I was hooked 15 years old and really feeling the music. By the time Swallowed came out, I couldn't be more excited. They worked with Steve Albini, who produced In Utero. Swallowed was the bridge between 16 Stone and Razorblade Suitcase. It was punky and made for teens. Always believed in playing from the heart on a record, an organic, natural thing. Preciseness does not matter. It's the feeling. Steve definitely captured that. As time went by, Personal Holloway and Greedy Fly became hits. Going into a young adulthood, this was one of my soundtracks. Gavin is the reason I have 3 Fender Jazzmaster guitars. It was an axe I had always wanted. He plays more Strats today. Without hesitation, buy this album. You won't regret it. 4 out of 5 stars. Excuse me.
What a piece of shit. That guy's a piece of shit.
One more. This is by Alice Morris from 2018. Remember that. Just wanted to let people know I have a Bush Suitcase Razorblade necklace if anyone's interested. 3 out of 5 stars.
A what?
She's trying to sell a necklace that she has or possibly made by posting a review on Amazon, a 3-star review, in 2018.
Right. Okay.
Is she 80?
I'm selling it on Etsy. I liked the guy who said Amazon sent me, like he didn't order it. What the fuck is this? They're not Columbia House. Great reviews, Tim. Who's this for?
I guess the chronically depressed. I don't really know.
That sounds tragic. That's terrible. Okay, that brings us to final thoughts. What have we not said?
We have said too much. It is almost contentless. And yet we talked about it for so long.
It's practically an instrumental.
Yeah, it may as well be, yeah.
Be better if it were. Okay, Tim, we've been all the way through it. I am very curious. Do you hate this album?
Yeah, this was a fucking slog. This was terrible. Cool. I had just as bad a time talking about this album as I did listening to it, and I hate it. What about you, friend? Did you get there?
Why, yes, I did.
Oh, good. Is it because I've been blowing lightly on your neck every time I have not been speaking?
No, I intend to beat you savagely the moment this is over for that.
Oh.
In fact, I might even just have Tom do it.
Oh, God, please don't. He's so much bigger than you.
Just with footballs. He's got so many official NFL footballs. I hate this. Tim, I might have enjoyed talking about this less than listening to it, which is a first here on the show, which might be appropriate for the last. And again, we don't know, folks. We may be back next week or not. Tim seems to think not. I am an optimist. Also, I pay for most of the stuff, and we are paid up longer than that. So I hope there's more someday. Anyway, okay. I really didn't enjoy this. Really bad stuff, Gavin. And I'm putting it squarely at your feet because I think the music is fine, and you can only do so much with gibberish.
Yeah, it's like the band heard the lyrics or read the lyrics and tried to come up with music that would fit them and just did the best they could. I don't blame Nigel.
No. What am I supposed to do with Wonder If I've Met My Wife? Splinter left. Focus right. Focus right. That's the chorus, dude.
It may as well be the what was it? The Gwen Stefani line.
Oh, yeah. Martin Luther, okay, computer.
Yeah, whatever that line is. God. Ugh. It's terrible.
Okay, bold statement. Husband v. wife didn't know it was going to come down to this. Battle of the X's. I enjoyed the Gwen Stefani lobster martini asshole party way more than Bush's Razorblade Suitcase.
I enjoyed that way more than almost every album we've listened to on the show. That was a delightful, ridiculous album. That album gave us something to work with. She really swung for the fences and didn't just mutter nonsense.
Yeah. Gavin, you mumbly bastard. This just wasn't fun. And we'll never do any more of your other albums because they don't exist.
We'll never do any more of anyone's albums because we no longer exist.
Again, remains to be seen. All right, Timmy, that's going to wrap things up. As always, you can reach out to us by going to Instagram. That's Album HatePod. Twitter is HatePod. I'm G Harvey Tweets on Twitter. This might be the last episode ever, though I am doubting that, especially because we just spent a considerable amount of money on a brand new world headquarters in New York. But if you don't see us for a couple of weeks, it might be because we're moving or because we're never coming back. Boy, we're terrible at marketing. You could also reach out to us, and boy, we want to hear from you. HatePodMail@gmail.com, or you can go to HatePod.com and click on Contact Us in the upper left-hand corner. It asks for an email. That's just so we can reply. We don't market at you, and we will reply. I replied to some emails from 2 years ago, and people were just shocked. We get there. It just takes time. Anyway, we got a Discord server. If you want to be invited, I finally figured out how that works. Just let me know. I can do that. We've got subreddits. We've got, that's about it. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson. And on December 20th, 2014, Garrett P. Harvey spontaneously, unprompted, said, "The more I think about urinals, the more I'm appalled by them."
Accurate.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shia LaBeouf.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.